Welcome, beautiful soul. I'm so happy you're here today, in this quiet space we created to reflect, listen, and return to ourselves. This is your time, your safe place, your reminder that choosing yourself isn't selfish, it's necessary. Today's episode is a personal one. I want to talk to you about how I chose myself, truly, and how by doing so, I earned everyone's respect. Not by force or manipulation, but by becoming someone who respects herself deeply first. Let's dive in, slowly and gently. I want to walk you through every step, every realization, and every shift that brought me to the space of self-respect, peace, and clarity. 1. I made myself a priority. I used to be the person who gave too much. My time, my attention, my energy, it all belonged to everyone but me. I felt like I owed the world all of me, even when I was running on empty. Until one day, I asked myself, what would happen if I treated myself like I mattered most? So I started prioritizing my time. I stopped saying yes to things that drained me, and I created space for myself to grow, to think, to just be. I blocked off hours just for me. No calls, no messages, no distractions. Even something as simple as sitting with a cup of tea and a journal became sacred. I was no longer available for anything or anyone that made me abandon myself. And that's the beginning of self-respect, to show up for yourself like your soul is worth protecting. 2. I spent time alone, a lot of it. At first, solitude felt awkward. We're conditioned to think being alone is sad or empty. But soon I discovered the beauty of it. I started walking alone, eating alone, journaling in quiet cafes, talking to myself out loud sometimes, just to hear what I truly thought. I became my own best friend. When you're always with others, you become blurred by their thoughts, their judgments, their noise. But when you're alone, your own voice becomes clear, and it's often much kinder than you thought. This solitude didn't make me lonely. It made me whole. It taught me that I am the only person who will be with me for every second of my life, so it's worth investing in that relationship. 3. I committed to self-improvement and real joy. I began to study what truly matters in life, not from social media influencers or popular trends, but from books, spiritual wisdom, and quiet reflection. I stopped chasing external validation and began asking, what brings real contentment? The answer was always the same: peace, alignment, simplicity, and closeness to God. I realized that joy isn't found in achievements or likes or being liked by others. It's in knowing who you are, what you stand for, and knowing you are loved and guided by something bigger than you. My biggest breakthrough came when I reconnected with God, not as a distant figure, but as a source of constant love and protection. I started seeing the signs, feeling the guidance, and realizing how deeply God wants good for me, if I would just listen. 4. I defined my standards and enforced them. There was a time when I allowed people to treat me however they wanted, just because I didn't want to cause conflict. But over time, I realized if I don't define what's acceptable, someone else will, and it likely won't be in my favor. So I got clear on my standards, how I want to be spoken to, how I expect to be treated, what I will and will not tolerate. And the most important part, I enforced those standards. Kindly, calmly, but firmly. When someone disrespected me, I didn't explain myself 10 times. I walked away, not in anger, but in self-honor. People quickly learn how to treat you based on what you allow. Teach them with your actions, not your words. 5. I spoke my mind, even when it wasn't popular. One of the most powerful shifts in my life was learning to say what I believe, even when it goes against the crowd. Because when you suppress your truth to fit in, you shrink, and no one respects a version of you that's constantly shrinking. It takes courage to be the one who disagrees, but that courage builds a backbone. And people respect that, even if they disagree with you. You can be graceful and firm, gentle and unapologetically honest. That's true power. 6. I healed from the inside out, then cared for the outside. I used to believe that if I just looked good, people would respect me, but that only got me shallow approval, not real admiration. So I turned inward first. I cleaned my heart of jealousy, bitterness, gossip, judgment, and grudges. I chose to forgive, to let go, to speak kindly, even when it was hard. I wanted to become pure, not perfect, but clear, soft, strong from within, like an angel in energy. And from that place, I began to care for my appearance. But this time, it wasn't for others. It was for me. I dressed beautifully, I walked with grace, I honored my body, all because I finally loved myself from within. And people felt that. That's the energy that can't be faked. It's magnetic. 7. I walked away from people who didn't align. This one was hard. Some people were in my life for years, but they drained me, mocked my growth, didn't understand my values, brought nothing but noise, comparison, or heaviness. So I chose solitude over shallow connection. I stopped forcing conversations. I stopped justifying my silence. I allowed space. And yes, at times it felt lonely, but very soon new people came into my life. Aligned people, uplifting souls, those who speak my language even in silence. You don't have to beg to belong. Your people will find you, but only after you make space for them. 8. I protected my inner peace like a treasure. After all the work, the healing, the boundaries, I realized that the most valuable thing I now have is my inner peace. And I protect it fiercely. No argument, no event, no person is worth giving it up for. I choose softness. I choose silence over drama. I choose distance over chaos. Because peace isn't something you stumble upon. It's something you build and then fiercely guard. Closing words. My dear listener, choosing yourself isn't about being selfish. It's about building a life from the inside out, with intention, honesty, and grace. And when you do that, people feel it. You don't have to demand respect. It flows to you naturally because you became someone who respects herself deeply. Let this be your reminder. You are worth the time. You are worth the space. You are worth the effort. Choose yourself, fully, gently, and proudly. And everything else will begin to fall into place. With all my love. Until next time.